In this one, we're going to go through my recommendations for reaching level 20 from level 10. To start with, let's talk about what we're looking for first. In general, you should be fighting enemies that are a similar level to yourself. You do not want to be in a party that has a level disparity of more than 3. Honestly, the closer you can get the character levels together, the more evenly and the better everybody's going to level up. But try not to go over 3. The XP drain, if somebody's high level than you, gets really, really bad. So try not to have too much of a level disparity. Obviously, the later into the game you get, having a group becomes more and more important. So make sure you are keeping track of the people that you enjoy playing with, getting to know people. It's just kind of a part of how the game is going to be played. When it comes to enemies, specifically then that you can level up on, we have a few choices. In general, we are looking for humanoid enemies because we want to be getting gear. This is going to be the Ashen Minotaur looking enemies, the Highwaymen and Bandits, and the Skeletons have also seemingly started to drop gear as well. So keep an eye out for those. And that is ultimately what you want to be looking for. Something else to mention that is also good are bears. If you see a bear out in the wild, and even if you are several levels above, once your gear starts getting good, you can kill the bears. They almost always drop you thousands of experience, so make sure you're using that to your advantage as you are going around in the world. We've already done a video for getting to level 10, so we've already got that covered. And if you do feel like you need a party, you happen to be on the EU servers, at the end of the video there will be an end screen that'll take you to our guild recruitment. So if you guys want to come through onto that, you can certainly come ahead and join us in game. I've got 2 spots for you starting at level 10. You're going to want to stay at these areas until you've started filling your slots out in dropped gear. There's 2 things to note about this. As gear drops from enemies, even white gear is actually going to be better than the gear that you get dropped from vendors. This is just something that's within the game. When you vendor something, it's the bottom roll, even of the white versions of the item. And in addition to that, you want to get yourself some green items, some more powerful gear as you are going through. So with that being said, we've got 2 spots. The level 10 grinding video will have had you finish at Highwayman Hills, and you can easily stay here until 16. Okay, if you've got a good party, you can stay in the central area or around the docks. Actually quite dense around here as well. If you have fewer party members, so a small party, maybe 2 or 3, you want to come on over to the island and pick the enemies off from that way. Another really good spot, and it's actually much easier, is this little peninsula over here, which very slightly to the east of Highwayman Hills. And up here, you're going to have the Ashen enemies. Now, these actually have started to drop gear as well. So bear in mind that as you are going through the different zones, loot drops are going to start changing as the loot lists get upgraded. But what we're looking for right now is just humanoid enemies that are going to drop us the loot. And I had some lower level guildies come and test this area out for me. And this area is also very good. It's basically full of 1-star enemies. So you're going to get a really nice base rate of drops and good experience all the way up until at least level 14 to 15. So we have 2 good mid-range areas where you can level yourself up and get yourselves the gear that you need to be able to continue. Moving on to something a little bit more mid-level then, we've got a couple of options. One that is good for just XP is the very southern part of the remnants of Cephalion. Down here, you'll find that there is a good amount of level 15, 16 enemies. They don't drop much in the way of gear, but you will get things like droppings and glint, so you'll get money, and if you want the crafting stuff, going to be pretty good for you down here. In addition, the center of Derrigal Farm is okay. You don't really want to come around the pond because there are some 3-star plants that are a pain in the ass, but the actual farm itself is pretty good, and you can actually stay here until you're around level 18. As you start gaining levels and gaining gear, you can come into the manor that is on the southeastern side, and once you are in that spot, you'll be able to farm yourself some pretty good gear and levels in there as well. If you happen to get yourself well geared before this point, so if you have at least 50% of your gear in green, then you can also consider going to Oakenbane. This place is pretty difficult. The enemies actually look like they're quite low level when you get there. They're like level 13 to 14. But recently they updated this place to be covered in 3-star enemies, which makes it very difficult. But the good thing is, if you can make it to the back end where the keep is, there's a selection of bosses. They drop a selection of gear, which is good for almost all classes. And so it's overall just a strong place to get yourself some gear, especially as you're now going to be starting to move your way up to the level 20s. In the same vein, the next good place for you to go to is going to be the Steel Blossom. This is very similar, probably tougher than Oakenbane. So if you go to Oakenbane, feel like, you know, it's starting to switch into easy gear, then you can come on up to the Steel Bloom, farm this area, and that's going to get you even more loot. Additionally, I should mention the Ursine Caves. This area is also very good for XP. Currently, there's a hill over here that drops very easy level 20 gear, but I think this is going to be something that gets patched out, so I don't necessarily want to recommend it. But the caves themselves, very good for XP, and it has tightly packed bosses. So in there, you're also going to get some pretty good loot out of that area as well. So you should definitely have Ursine Caves on your roster. And once you're happy with your gear, and your gear is pretty decent, the best thing for you to do is to come to north of Halcyon right now. And that's because along this road here, we actually have level 19 zombies. These are extremely safe to farm. All you need to do is make sure that you just avoid their spitting attacks. This actually leads us up into Grave Peak. Up here, you can effectively replicate exactly what I just said with the zombies. You'll be able to kite them out of the western gate very easily. They kind of get bottlenecked down here, so you can use your range damage. Even as a fighter, just equip a bow, you can use range damage to damage them from afar and very easily pick them off and get yourself extremely high amounts of XP without very much risk. This is the main thing. Once you start getting to higher levels, your XP debt is going to get very, very high, so you want to avoid that, okay? So level 19, I would say come up here. Up until level 19, you should be trying to get yourself gear. You want as much good level 10 gear on your character as possible, because that is what is giving you the power as you level up. And that is just going to make sure that you're in a comfortable position once you get to level 20. And then from there, you can start looking at getting your level 20 gear, which is obviously going to be a bit of a different video to this one. Much like in the last video, we'll close out on a picture of everything that we just spoke about, so you guys have got a good idea where to go at which kind of levels, with some extra suggestions on there as well in case you need any other areas. Maybe the areas that I've suggested are busy, or you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by some of the enemies or something like this. So hopefully this is useful